Hey everybody, welcome to the Microsoft 365 Pulse. We're here with this week's updates. We do not have many updates. We have 28 this week, so should be a quick show. But let's go ahead and kick things off. Adam's not here. I
I
was
was
going to
going to
say,
say,
oh goodness, Tom, why don't you go ahead and kick us off this week? And we'll start with in development. So these are things behind the scenes that are getting developed or worked on by our team up in Microsoft.
sounds good. The one that I thought was really interesting, I had not seen that this one was even on the drawing board anywhere. That is in Microsoft Teams. You'll now be able to do cameos in PowerPoint Live. So it's a new experience that seamlessly integrates your Teams camera feed into your presentation, letting you customize how and where you want to appear on your slides and offering layout recommendations for optimal viewing. I think that's really cool that you're going to be able to go into PowerPoint Live and actually stick your video somewhere on the screen so you don't have to worry about, well, how do I get it into my, you know, PowerPoint presentation, the whole bit. It sounds like you're just going to be able to turn on your camera, get it situated to show up properly, and you go for it. I think that's going to be really cool for people who do presentations on a regular basis
Well,
and
I'm
want to have the camera up.
loving I'm loving this one because as someone who has to purchase video software for a team of, you know, multiple people, so double
Right.
digits team, and I have to purchase video equipment and video software, but I know that my team is using a small percentage of the
Right.
actual features of the video software. It's going to be very nice that maybe some of those video features are actually going to be coming in to, our office suite where I will not have to purchase the
Yep.
software for everyone. I don't mind purchasing the software for those that are actually using the video features, but if we don't have to purchase that software, that would be a huge cost
Yeah.
savings for us. So I'm kind of excited to see where this is going and then where the future of some of this could go because it could meet a lot of demand that we have. So
You
I'm
bet.
excited to see this one. Could be good in cost savings, actually. Reduction of other licensing. Very cool. Tamara, what do you see that you like in development?
Donuts. I see donuts. I don't see them on the spreadsheet, but I see donuts. But aside from that, in Excel, insert data from a picture. So you can add table data from an image from the data tab. And I think that's going to be very interesting with all that picture to text stuff. We have it in OneNote where you
Right.
put an image in and it will pull the text from the image. So it's nice to see them putting that into Excel where it can actually do us some good because people love to send PDFs of charts and graphs and tables so that nobody can mess with it, but then you can actually use the data.
Yeah. I
So
know they
without
had
typing
that.
it in.
And they had that like in the mobile app, I think, where you could basically take the picture of, the picture or the website or whatever, and it would say, oh, this is a table, boom, puts it out in a real table, and then you can mess with it. This takes it like one step beyond, and I'm really loving that one a lot.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Well,
go
oh,
ahead.
go ahead.
I was just
Uh,
going to say my most favorite thing, but I might be stealing your thunder.
no, go ahead. Go ahead with your most favorite thing.
My most favorite thing? Microsoft List Calendar View conditional formatting. So items in the list calendar view can be color coded based on conditions or rules specified on the fields available in the view. So these rules can be managed using the format current view section of the calendar view. So I'm really excited about this. This goes kind of like back to the calendar overlay where each calendar would be color coded and you'd create a calendar for like each category. Like this is PTO, this is training, this is whatever. And then you'd layer them on and it'd be color coded for when people are going to be out of the office and what they're doing. So I'm excited to get this feature back, so to speak.
Yeah. Very
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. Well, I have got one that I like, and this is the Microsoft Viva new module powered by Viva Goals. So Viva Goals is Alio. which was the goals tool that they brought in based on OKRs. This is not meant to be a performance review tool. It's based on goals that you set up for your team. And so they're going to be doing some work to get that as a standalone app brought into Teams and integrated with all of the other applications. I'm sure we're going to be seeing that. It's got a date of August calendar year. So it'll be interesting to see where that's coming and see how all of that works. So I'm excited to see how Viva Goals is going to be coming in and see how that works. I'm going to see what confusion it brings to the market versus what clarity, because if it's not performance-based goals, but it's team goals, it's going to be an interesting mix. So kind of excited to see how it works. It could actually be a really great thing if it's just team setting teams goals and working. But again, we'll see how they implement that and how that works out. So excited to see where that one's going and see what comes of it. So could be interesting there. So Tom, do you have any others? Are you playing the role of Adam today?
No, I'm not going to play the role of Adam today. I do have one though, Microsoft Search, the personal query history. They've talked about this coming like over the last year or so, and it seems like it's finally in development. Hopefully it'll get here. But basically, as you start typing in the search box, you'll see suggested searches and results based on your previous activity in Microsoft 365 on the content that's trending in your organization. So the fact that you now have this personal search query history means that if you found something that was really useful in a search before, and then you went off and did something with it, and 3 weeks later you come back and it's like, oh my gosh, how do I find that again? What did I search for? I can't remember. You can just start typing and it will give you a list of the things that match that, much like when you type something into Google and it gives you all these suggested things. But it'll be based on your history. It's like, oh, that's the one I did. Boom, click on it. You're going to get the same type of things that come out in the search and you'll be able to get back to what you were going to do. So I think this is something that's going to help people, especially if you do a lot of searching to find content, to remember how to get back to what that content was that you found without having to bookmark the heck out of everything you've ever searched. So looking forward to that one. That should be out in July.
Very cool. Well, I have another one, Viva inline suggestions while composing messages online. So this is about wellness and productivity. So based on what you're doing in Viva, it is going to give you suggestions based on what you're doing. I actually saw this the other day and I giggled a little bit, or I saw something like this. I don't know if it's exactly like this, but it was like, you've been emailing your team every day after hours. So how about you send this in the morning? Or different things like that. Or did you know, in one of my Viva emails, it was like, did you know that you communicate almost always with your team after hours and not during the workday? Maybe you should consider setting aside time during the day to talk to your team. And I was like, oh, maybe I should. So I just giggled for a minute. I was like, okay, thank you, Viva. So I think with the productivity and the well-being, it's going to do things like, hey, you've set up 22 meetings this week. Maybe this could be an email. So I think it's going to do suggestions like that to try to guide us into well-being. So it's going to be interesting to see where that goes and how that's coming out. So it says July calendar year. So that might be why I'm seeing maybe little bits and pieces of it as I was doing things. I just kind of giggled a little bit. But so it'll be interesting to see where that comes. Tamara, do you have anything else? If not, I guess some of the other things we're seeing is as we see things coming into peer review from all of the other things, as things are getting done, we're seeing a lot of other features come in. It's like advanced message encryption. We've got data loss prevention, deep link to the content viewer from an alert. So you can go from the alert into a deep link into the content. We've got inside risk management, the wizard enhancements. They're going to be breaking it up into steps, which is going to create a better user experience, which is always good stuff there. And the compliance center, some quick policies there. Those were the things I saw from that admin type perspective. And then the last two that I saw that I thought were interesting was if you're a developer with Teams, you're probably going to be excited that, well, you might not be excited because you're a developer. You're not going to get excited about reactions, but your users are probably going to get excited about it. Teams reactions are now going to be available, or they're working on it in development, that they'll be available in the API. So you can get to the reactions that people are making in Teams through the Teams API. And then finally, Microsoft Teams, the Moodle Learning Management System integration will be available for Microsoft Teams. That's going to be really big in the education space for those that are using Canvas, Blackboard. Now Moodle will be available, and that looks like it's going to be available in June, which means it could be coming to a school near you in August when we all go back to school. So excited about that and that enhancement that is coming. So. Those are the things that are in development that we have, and I will pass it to Tamara for rolling out.
Okay. There's so many things to pick from, but rolling out, this is one that we talked about earlier, and this is OneDrive. Rename your added OneDrive shortcuts. We've added the ability to rename shortcuts you've added using the Add to OneDrive feature in OneDrive Web. So excited because I have the stupidest names on my shortcuts. Things where I just memorize what order they're in, and that's how I know where to go to the right place. So this is a big win for me. I'm sure it'll be a big win for others. So that's rolling out right this month. So keep your eye out for that.
So I've got a couple that I will quickly hit since we've talked about these in the past. Microsoft Stream, you can configure the Stream tile in 365 app launcher to go to the new Stream app in office.com. So we're starting to get into that thing of you got to think seriously about getting off classic Stream into the new Stream and figuring out what all that means. But you're going to be able to actually start routing people to the new Stream app instead of always having them go to classic. The other one is Forms, brand new first run experience for Forms new users. I think this is great. So if somebody's using Forms for the first time and they're kind of clueless as to what's going on, there's going to be a first touch experience about the capabilities, where can they use Forms, how do they use it? You can navigate through the categories, things like that. So if you don't have a training department internal, or you don't have any sort of training material set up, this will at least be some level of training that you can give to your users when they go out and use Forms for the first time. So that's a good one too. Both of those are coming out in June.
Cool. And then I guess Microsoft Defender for Office 365 Priority Account Protection for Government Cloud. This is rolling out in June. This just means that with Priority Account Protection, Defender for Office 365, your security team can now prioritize focus on critical individuals within the organization, and then you can offer them differentiated protection and tag them and surface them differently. So you can, the secretary of the bureau or different users can be protected differently and give different users different levels of protection. I think that's a great change that's coming. Also inside of Teams, a couple of different changes that are rolling out, and these are rolling out to different environments, but one is rolling out to GCC High and DoD and worldwide, and that's the Exchange contacts available in call pickers. So Exchange contacts with associated phone numbers will be available as the drop down in select call people pickers. So if you have a PT or PSTN enabled environment, you'll be able to see people in the call pickers, which I know that's just the expected experience. So people will appreciate that. And then finally, the last one I have is Outlook Advanced Room Finder with filters for government clouds. Again, that's one that's coming out to GCC High and GCC DoD. That's the advanced room browse functionality with filters for building room list type, capacity, floor, feature. It's just replacing the existing room finder. So good updates coming there. So do you guys have anything else in rolling out? Okay.
Good to go on to launched.
All right, Tom, take us to launched.
Actually, I'm going to defer to my wife for this one because two of the ones on there that I highlighted basically talk to the same thing that she was talking about in one of her sessions this morning. So go for it.
All right. Thank you, husband. We just got married on May 21st, so calling each other husband and wife still is not old. So Visio, format options pane in Visio for the web. So the new format options pane in Visio web app brings new shape formatting properties, including dimensions, fill, and line formatting right next to your content. So as you adjust values, you'll be able to see your changes take place directly in the Visio canvas, allowing you to quickly try different shape options to see what works best for your diagram. And this is coming to GCC High, GCC, DoD, and worldwide. Do you want to take the other one?
Sure, why not? Visio, new stencil for shapes in your Visio or in your document in Visio for the web for GCC, GCC High, and DoD, and that would be for Visio Plan 2. So this release extends the availability of the new stencil for shapes in your document in Visio for the web, much like I just mentioned. For GCC, GCC High, DoD, and other sovereign clouds. The new shape stencils automatically saves the shape you've added to your diagram, so you can quickly access them and use them again without having to search through multiple stencils every time you want to use them. So this feature will be available for users with a Visio Plan 2 license.
Which is $15 a month.
Per person.
Per person.
All right. Well, they left me with the two Adams, and I can talk about one of them, and one of them I would have to save for more information from Adam. But the first one is B2C identity protection and conditional access. That is in the phase of launching. And then Azure Active Directory conditional access authentication context, which just means you can target your policies for data and actions within an app. So you can refine your policies for zero trust down to the data level within an app, so you can protect things as much as you need to with the least amount of user friction. So more protection, less annoying. That's kind of what they're going for there. That's what they mean by minimizing user friction. So that's what we have in launched there, and we only have one in canceled this week versus last week where we had like 20. But the only one we haven't canceled is really a non-event because it's being canceled because it's a duplicate of another roadmap item. And that is just reports in the admin center for project usage. That's just getting canceled because it is in another roadmap item that's sitting out there being worked on. So nothing to see here, folks. So we're good. And that is our roadmap for today. Short, sweet, to the point. Nothing too crazy. And so I think we're probably due for another one in the next week or so that I think it's probably going to be a doozy, but this week's is nice and crisp and to the point. So those are the updates. So we'll be back next week with another round of updates for everybody. So have a great
Sounds great.
week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye now.